To open the chapter, we arrive at the flower capital of Wano. Someone yells out that they can't believe something like a Denden Mushi can get signals abroad. Then we hear another say Orochi had this in the castle. We then see Momonosuke talking about Joy Boy being a pirate who sounds like Luffy. Kinemon asks Momo if he's heard of Joy Boy before. We then go to the brig at Naval Base G4. The former fake Luffy, Damalo, Black, from the Straw Hats post-time skip arrival at Sabaody Archipelago and his crew. They are now dressed as the Kid Pirates. They mention how Joy Boy's passed away and there's no way he's stronger than Damalo, who's now saying he's Captain Kidd, although locked up. While this is going on, Vegapunk's broadcast is still ongoing. He utters, but as for why Joy Boy was called a pirate, I have only read from a handful of poneglyphs, but what I found through them was a record of a breathtakingly vast war. Joy Boy's enemy was the world government of the present day. Some Marines overhear this broadcast and question themselves, but realize this is their job, to hunt down pirates. Vegapunk continues. More accurately, it was the precursor to the world government, a provisional army assembled by 20 kingdoms known as the Alliance. During this time, we see Luffy, Broggy, and Dory running from a rampaging Saint Warkery. Then we get to the lab where Saint Mars uses Conqueror's Haki to knock out all Denden Mushis in his area. Vegapunk continues. You might say they had no other choice. So robust was Joy Boy's faction. Without knowing the spark that caused the war, I won't say who was right or wrong. I'll state that two competing ideologies came head to head. As I mentioned earlier, for its time 900 years ago, the country of Joy Boy's birth was a startlingly advanced civilization. Even I, a humble genius, cannot replicate them. And therein lies the problem. During the speech, we see Zunisha, a silhouette of Joy Boy opposing who seems to be the world government at the time, the Mokumo Dukedom listening in with Carrot, and the Foxy Pirates are confused about the whole transmission. What did you guys think about this part of the chapter? Starting with Lawrence.
I just hope that we don't see that, I guess, Joy Boy, that he looks like Luffy. I hope we don't get that, like he's like a spinning image of Luffy now and back then. I hope we don't get that. Like, yeah, there's going to be some similarities because they both were a pirate and they both, I guess, free-spirited and they both have the same fruit. I couldn't believe we saw this person back again. D'Amelio Black. I was like, wow. And I'm like, hold on. How'd you not get captured in, in Sabaody?
Marines, bro. He probably escaped.
Because we saw Tomorrow, like, call like, this fake person, like, and he hit him. So it's like, all right, you guys all got nabbed up, I'm pretty sure, right? We saw Tomorrow take you out personally. You're in prison now, but, like, where'd you have the time to change the kids? You know what I'm saying? Because you should have been locked up. Like, you should be in Eppo down right now. Where are you getting kids' uniform from? Like, I thought that was hilarious. And he's talking about, and one, you're clearly in prison now. There's no one stronger than him. Like, it doesn't make any sense. It had me dying. People in One Piece, when we notice, like, their egos or what they believe in themselves, like, I'm the strongest, even though you're clearly not. But they had this attitude about themselves that they could take on the whole world if they wanted to. Yeah. And that was, like, even the fodder people had this attitude. It was like, where do you get this from? When Vegapunk was talking about, like, only a handful of poneglyphs, I was like, how much time he said he spent in the dragon's lair when they took all that information. Honestly, yeah, we know he doesn't have the red ones, right? But I'm thinking all what the Ohara took, I'm not saying that Vegapunk downplayed it, but I feel like they had a lot more. Because I kind of feel like they had almost, not every single poneglyph, because I feel like the Ohara had years upon years of what they were building. The red ones is very limited, so I can understand that why they wouldn't have those. But to me, what I always thought is that Vegapunk, you only don't know is the complete story, like the end line. You know, what the red poneglyphs say and what's at Laugh Tale. That's the only thing you don't know. But he's trying to say, no, I don't, and there's more I don't know. Which makes the story of what we're going to get to greater. You know, like, all right, there's something that even with all the Vegapunk med, all of what Ohara has, there's still pieces that we don't know, into it. I thought that was dope. With him walking through, it is not using Conquerors, knocking out, even though it's like the Denden Mushis, like, it's like, that's nothing. Each one of them are going to have Conquerors, it looks like. And that was just a dope moment right here because they're listening to what you're saying and how much they want to stop it. So they're doing everything they can to, that's completely all they're focused on. And now we hear that the 20 kingdoms was called the Alliance. They had a name to it before they became the world government. Because we always talked about like why they had to team up. And it kind of represents the ancient kingdom. So we always think like, we don't know the affiliation between Joy Boy and the ancient kingdom. Like how close aligned are they? You know, some people are thinking like he was the king, or some people are thinking he was their Noland. He was their adventurer or whatever. I was thinking it could be like Oda could possibly be doing very similar to Odin. Odin could have foreshadowed Joy Boy in that way where like he's the heir to the throne. Like, Joy Boy's father is the king of the kingdom, and Joy Boy is the heir to the throne, but he kind of wants to venture out on his own, something like that. So I was kind of linking that possibly. But he said that they were so strong. They use the word robust, but if you look at the word, it means strong, healthy, like thriving, vibrant. Like, everything they had everything the world had to offer, pretty much. Technology, power, might, strength, everything. That anyway to compete against this ancient kingdom, that you had to get these 20 kingdoms to combat against them. Vegapunk kind of wanted to be a celestial dragon. And he keeps kind of re-saying the same thing over and over. I'm not going to tell you who's wrong or right. I'm not going to tell you there's a bad side or a good side. So even though he knows what the world government is capable of, and he's seeing what they did, he knows what led up to this, but he's still not saying that they're bad. He's still not saying that they're evil. So it goes into, like, everyone talks about ideologies where this person believed in this one and this person believed in this one. That's how usually wars kind of start. Not necessarily there's a good guy or a bad guy, but from our perspective, the world government is pure evil. But back then, we know it's different. It just speaks to how crazy strong the ancient kingdom had to be for them to align 20 kingdoms. Because if you think about 20 kingdoms, that is crazy. Because not every island is a kingdom. The power of a kingdom, we have 20 of those. And it seemed like they were warriors because we see that little silhouette. He looks like Luffy, but not Luffy. Which I kind of liked about that. When he's battling against them, and that's them finding all the 20 kingdoms. I might not be talking for a minute. Foxy. I was like, why are we showing him even? I was like, what's the point? But then it made me think. I look at him. I go, he lost again. Because if you look at his ship, that giant one he had he doesn't have them. He has this little rowboat with his face on it. So he lost a Davy back fight.
And they hungry, bro.
They're starving. But yeah, I'll end up my turn for now.
All right, Seb.
All right, so there's a lot here to go over.
There's so much.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, we have to get through the chat.
I'm going to go piece by piece. It was cool seeing Momo and Kinemon and my girl Shinobu and Otama. I was trying to remember who the hell that guy on the back left is. I don't think he's anybody relevant.
I can't see it.
Yeah,
he didn't look recognizable.
Yeah. When I tell you I cracked up when I saw DeMarco Black, I was like, one, bruh, give it up. Like, it's over.
Yeah.
Two, how recently have you started doing this? Because Kid only very recently got taken out, right? Like,
Yeah.
Like, that was like a couple days ago.
Oda's so messed up for this.
So like the news reported that Kid lost already, I guess, to Shanks, and like he was like, "Oh, I bet I'm gonna just be Kid." like come on, bro. And then he got locked up like seconds after that, I guess, because like he locked up. I laughed so hard. I also laughed at that Marine that was like, "Wait, that's us," because I always be like, "That me," like all the time when I see myself on screen. Like he's like, "Oh wait, that's us." Like we're those people he's talking about. Workery just looks menacing. They're still out. I did really like Mars walking through, like Lawrence said. The silhouette was cool. I did like the juxtaposition of it with Zunisha being like right next to it, because it's like Zunisha was there.
Yeah.
Like it experienced these things for real. I would have liked a cleaner silhouette personally. I didn't like that. Like he's wearing a sash too. How Luffy we gonna be?
I do not.
Sash is very pirate.
It's a sash, bro.
Even if it is, sash is piratey though.
Is.
Sash is pirate. All pirates kind of wear sashes though, so it's not just to Luffy.
I'm gonna tell you right now.
Sash.
I don't think that's a sash. I think that's the cloak.
You think it's the cloak? Okay.
Yeah.
Imagine it's his tail.
I thought sash.
See?
You're saying cloak.
You getting a One Piece madness?
You're saying tail.
I think it's the cloak. Put a pull up.
I'll put a pull up.
Yeah, put a pull up.
It's probably a sash, but yeah.
Y'all asked me earlier what I thought about the chapter. And I said F this chapter.
Okay.
This is why.
Because of Foxy?
Because of Carrot.
Oh my god.
Why, bro? Oda, why?
Oh my god.
I know. I'm like I'm the last one to the party. I understand that. I should have accepted this a year ago. It's been like a year. Why, bro?
Yeah.
Why, bro? Where in her story is she the leader of the Minx? Like nothing in her story tells me that, and out of nowhere she's just here now.
Yeah, no, I agree. I just kind of brushed past it. I was just like,
yeah, y'all know me, bro. I focus. The biggest thing I like about One Piece is the storytelling. There is no element in Carrot's story that tells me that she should be the leader of the Minx. Yeah. And yet, this is what I'm forced to deal with.
Listen, bro, she got that mink coat on too.
Oh man,
it doesn't match.
You get it?
It's just
mink coat. All right, never mind.
It made me cringe, bro. I was visibly upset when I read it.
Yeah,
but it was good to see her because I like Carrot. That's my girl. I just wanted bigger things for her. Than
it would have been better if she was a Straw Hat than ruling the main kingdom. That's crazy. But she would have been better as a Straw Hat. I would say writing wise. Yeah.
I try not to let agenda piece win out.
Yeah,
it went out when I read this chapter, bro.
Damn,
I was salty.
It's okay.
Actively, bro. I liked seeing Foxy. I didn't expect to see him, so when I saw him, I started laughing. Overall, to Vegapunk's point about the Ancient Kingdom, Lawrence highlighted this a little bit. It reminded me of two things. One was a quote that power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So in the world government's case, they were this alliance in the past that had to band together to fight whatever this ancient kingdom that was clearly superior to them in technology and advancements and such and such. And Vegapunk speaking, he doesn't have all the knowledge, and he said, ideologies clashed. I won't say who's right or who's wrong. We do know somebody that does know the full knowledge and still gave basically the same answer. Rayleigh. Rayleigh said, we know the true history, but I'm going to leave it to y'all to decipher for yourselves. Basically not saying who was right, who was wrong in that moment, but alluding to who was right, who was wrong in that moment. You can make the decision, your choice, based off the information that you guys get. So I love that there is nuance here. It's not like, oh, the world government's just evil at the end of the day, which is probably going to be what we, as the reader, Luffy as the main character, will decide. But there is some element of nuance there and like perspective there that's always kind of been there in One Piece, at least in these major storylines. We had it in Marineford where Doflamingo gave the speech. We've had it in several backstories. We've had it in just dilemmas and characters and things that people have decided. So I like that that's still going to be prevalent in the final saga.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just Imu's evil as hell.
Yeah.
Right? Because, like, with all the tie-ins that we get to Enel, Enel is, like, one of those villains that, Enel was just evil as hell. There was no real nuance to why he was doing what he did. He just felt like, I'm a god. I deserve this. Y'all are lesser. So I started to feel a little bit like we might start leaning heavier into that, where it's just like, nah, they're just evil. I always harping back to, like, when they made the decision to clip O'Hara, the Gorosei felt like remorse for it.
Yeah.
So, like, there's some elements of, like, decency in them. They just are also very, very, very willing to go to that dark side of them as well. It made me more interested in what the story actually is.
Yeah.
Which is good. If you can still do that after 1,500 chapters or whatever we're at now, 1,100, 15 chapters, like, shout out to Oda for that. I'll stop there because I have more, but
We're good, bro.
it's stuff I can expand on later, is why.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. There's a bit of poetry to Wano's borders being closed for so long that they are amazed by the technology of, like, Denden Mushis. I thought that was really cool. Kenimon asking Momonosuke if he knew who Joy Boy was. An interesting moment for me. Why? In chapter 1000, Yamato tells Momo that she picked up Odin's journal from the foot of the river of Odin's castle on that terrible day when it burned down when she was a child. In chapter 1012, Momonosuke starts to read that journal. In chapter 1014, Momonosuke realizes that he must not pass away no matter what. In chapter 1040, he tells Yamato that Zunisha's close by. Yamato responds with, "The elephant from Odin's journal?" Momonosuke responds, "Indeed, the companion of Joy Boy who committed a crime 800 years ago." In chapter 1041, Momonosuke says he doesn't know Zunisha's crime. He only spoke to Zunisha for a moment. Yamato then tells him it's just as Odin anticipated. He could speak to Zunisha, and he's the one to guide the world to the dawn. Momonosuke says after reading the journal, he learned why it's so important not to pass away, but Odin tore out that page, which was the most crucial part of the journal. What did Roger's crew see on that island that made them laugh? Why would he say to open Wano's borders? Then in chapter 1044, Zunisha tells Momonosuke that Luffy is actually Joy Boy. So, from what I could gather, Odin's journal contains some things. These things are: 1, Zunisha was mentioned as Joy Boy's companion. 2, Zunisha committed a crime. 3, whoever could talk to Zunisha will be considered Joy Boy. 4, Joy Boy will bring the world to the dawn. 5, Momonosuke will play a major role in bringing the dawn, but Odin tore out why he's needed, which is the most crucial part. 6, Odin told Momonosuke to open Wano's borders. I think Yamato and Momonosuke might be the only people besides the Gorosei, Vegapunk, and Imu who know Joy Boy's true name and the ancient kingdom's name. They don't know why Joy Boy became a pirate or why the war started. This means Odin either didn't know or the last page contained that, and he ripped it out. Just like Rayleigh, like Sebastian said, would tell the Straw Hats what it meant. They might come up with a different answer than what they came up with. It looks like, to me, Joy Boy wanted to be free of something. But because the 20 Kingdoms deemed his actions dangerous, they banded together to stop him. That's what it seems like to me. It gave me relief to see St. Mars using basic Conqueror's Haki.
Yeah.
Its staple indicator. Oda never had characters use this out of convenience. So I'm glad he didn't forget that it exists. Because Luffy should have did it on Wano, and I mentioned it like a million times.
There's so many examples of times people should have been using it.
And they just never were used.
Don't use it.
And we could tell it doesn't drain any energy.
I can't say that.
Kakurasaki?
The way
that.
they expound, like they emit it.
I can't say that.
I saw Luffy go crazy on Huddy, bro, at Fishman Island after he did it.
I wouldn't say it drains energy, but only because we all think, when Whitebeard could have used it during Marineford War. Mm-hmm. And I kind of feel like when he was trying to...
Yeah, but he wasn't using any hockey, really.
Yeah.
He was probably using basic armament, basic observation. That was it.
But I was just talking about the way when his heart got stopped, remember? Because when they were about to execute Ace, his heart stopped and he couldn't do it, then Luffy did it for him in a way. So I was thinking, it could be just because he was sick.
I found Joy Boy's silhouette very interesting. His hair looks longer than Luffy's. And it's definitely a cloak, bro. The cloak is just... little long on him.
We'll see, bro.
I will say that.
We'll see.
I love the opposing ideologies idea. I mentioned previously that Oda should take the route of Attack on Titan. Don't make one side good or the other bad. The world doesn't work like that. Nothing is ever truly black and white. Whatever the country Joy Boy's from, they may have posed a major threat to the world, bro. That's really what it is. The alliance was formed, but power corrupted them over time, which is the result of becoming the bad guys. I think power just corrupted them over 800 years.
And that's the case for the world government. All the piracy that they see is really the result of all the
suppression
stuff. Yeah, all the lack of resources that they leave out to everybody else.
Yeah.
They take, and leave everybody the scraps, and they fight for the scraps.
Because the reason I'm saying is because, for example, if you think about for Star Wars again, they kind of do it in a way for protection. Even, I think Jedi, you can't even have families. Right? Yeah. So it's a reason why they can't have certain emotions. So it's to restrict it because the danger of it. But if you think about the world government, they don't want you becoming a pirate because they see a danger of it, right? But now we learn it's linking back to Joy Boy. Why the war kind of started. We don't, again, Vegapunk said it, we don't know the spark that lit the fire, but the thing that happened, in a way, could have started with piracy. So now they're trying to put an end to all that because of the potential danger while creating enemies while they're trying to suppress this danger that they...
Trying to suppress piracy to create more piracy.
Exactly.
Yeah. The final thing I want to tackle is Vegapunk admitting that whatever this civilization created could not be replicated by him. So that means the Mother Flame is not the ancient energy source that he dreamt of. The lineage factor might just be a fraction of the ancient kingdom's knowledge, and most of his inventions lack in comparison. I've never been a fan of Vegapunk being like a fraud. Still, it brings up an interesting point in saying he's only been able to reverse engineer some of the tech he's found, meanwhile creating his own. But that doesn't necessarily mean he's the smartest we've ever seen. He's just a few hundred years advanced compared to what they were doing.
So to that point that you have there, Oda's setting himself up for potentially a big miss. You need to actively create technology that's more advanced than what Vegapunk has created by hundreds of years. Whenever you reveal whatever the ancient kingdom actually is. I believe in Oda, I believe he will, but I better start seeing some wild Futurama-esque, or you know what I mean? I need to see some Rick and Morty-esque stuff, bro, from these ancient kingdoms, or at least the ancient kingdom.
I've never been a fan of that Vegapunk's a fraud theory. I just think that he has been able to reverse engineer a lot, and you already have to be insanely smart to reverse engineer anything.
I think the only piece of him that even speaks to the fraud element is he got performance enhancers with that devil fruit.
Yeah.
As far as maintaining and capturing knowledge.
To me, I don't even think Vegapunk's a fraud. Someone could be smarter than you 1,000 years ago. You know what I'm saying?
But the point is, it's most of his inventions haven't been
They're not organic.
his own.
Yeah.
That's the point. It's the only ones that we know for sure is his failures. So when we go back to Karakuri, his hometown, he didn't finish the geothermal invention that he had for the island to heat it up.
Yeah.
That was done. And then the inventions we saw on his maps were him combining devil fruits with, or his machines, or putting machines into animals. So that's something that he created, which we've seen, the sea beasts. But everything else, like the pacifistas and...
Seraphim.
The Seraphim and all that stuff. Lineage factor was found by him, but then again, we also don't know because he's also, a part of the world government.
Yeah.
So he probably had access to, some stuff already.
That's true. That food machine, though.
Yeah,
Again, we might not know if that's from him or... To further this point is what happened in chapter 355. Tom stated that the ancient shipwrights 800 years ago had built Pluton, When the world government caught wind of this, Tom was like, yo, here's the blueprints to Iceberg. And he accepted them. And then Frankie and him took a look at the blueprints. And then Frankie was like, humans could build this? Like, what? And then Iceberg's reaction was, who would want to build this? For me, when you look at Pluton and the ancient civilization that Joy Boy is from, you start to realize, like, maybe these 20 kingdoms weren't the bad people. Maybe they saw the world being endangered because of these ancient weapons, because the way they were being used. So it's like, yo, I don't see how, like, you wouldn't think that was a threat unless they weren't sharing technology. And that's also a possibility that the ancient kingdom,
not, then
it's like,
you know
yo,
what I
we
mean?
gotta revolt because you're building things that literally have caused the damage it has caused. And this is the world we live in right now. This war that was created, I'm sorry, but like that war created this current time. But they were because of the ancient weapons. The 20 kingdoms might have been in a right at that point in time to be like, we got to take you guys out. Because as of right now, you're endangering the whole world. We are the 20 kingdoms. We are the most powerful kingdoms we've yet known to the world. We have to take you out. It's impossible to let you go on. It kind of brings up that Tom idea, that everything that's built isn't always meant to destroy. It's meant to be how you use it. Do you use it for destruction or do you use it for good? But also there comes with a responsibility of even creating it. So if the ancient kingdom is creating and using this inappropriately, I can see how the 20 kingdoms might have got hold of an ancient weapon like Pluton or maybe Uranus or Uranus, however you say it, and they used it upon the world ancient kingdom. And then they were like, yo, it's worth taking you out and risking the world to be what it is later on, instead of you doing whatever you want and then we have to deal with the devastation of that. You might take out the world one day.
Maybe Joy Boy like Blackbeard, bro.
Yeah.
It makes you think. Remember, especially used to bring out how, like, in a way, abilities, walking nukes, or like, or in a way, like world powers, in a way, so to speak. But you have the ancient kingdom who have multiple, and they have all this stuff, and the Lions are like, yo, they're too strong. No one can compete against them if they decide to like attack or do whatever.
I was gonna make a Manji Empire reference, but never mind. No one's gonna get it but you. So it's fine.
Yeah, so it's like saying that they're too strong, and also they could be, from what we've seen from like sometimes even the Monkey D clan or even like Vegapunk, one thing that they have in common, even though they kind of seem like they're worlds apart, is their recklessness. Vegapunk in his inventions, like Jimmy even called them out, because it was like, you want to share this and have everyone do this, but then Jimmy said, but wouldn't you have the problem where people's different ideologies and cultures, what they're bringing, understand that differently, and then that would cause more war. Right? And Vegapunk, see, you can't let that limit you.
Yeah.
And then the D's, what we see like Luffy and them, they can be very reckless with how they do things and how they use things. Like, you know, not really think of all the surrounding factors of how this is going to affect other people. I just want the immediate action or the immediate advantage now. Like Luffy freeing Ace. He's not thinking about how letting all these prisoners are affected. I just want to free my brother, you know?
Yeah.
So they could be very much like that too, and how they were using these ancient weapons or their technology.